welcome to Turnip Gaming. I'm Mark.
I'm Rob.
We're podcasting again.
And we are podcasting again. Let's hope it goes better than last time.
Oh, sweet baby Jesus.
We are not hammered or sloshed or any mixture of the two this time.
No, I'm limiting myself to one mixed drink. And
we're limiting ourselves to one podcast at a time. Because last time ended up being two. Speaking of all that, though, I am going to pop my next brew before we get started. Yeah, okay.
Go with the stiffener?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the wiener stiffener here. Let's not say that on the show because they don't know what we're talking about. Okay, so let's roll right into things, I guess.
Okay.
So we don't waste too much time like before. We actually have a list that we will adhere to.
We had a list last time.
A bigger list than this one, and we got through maybe one topic.
Okay, so let's start with the first one I see here, which is Bravely Default. And I'll even tie it in with the last point, purchases. So I went out on release day, like the big release junkie that I am not, and picked up me some Bravely Default. Oh, but you're not supposed to mix up the slosh.
Just keep talking.
And I picked up Bravely Default. I went to my local GameStop because I support tyrannical suppression of people that want to work in the video game industry and retail.
And it's also the only place close to your house that has it.
Yeah. And I actually asked them about the collector's edition because, fuck, it's $20 more. Why the hell not?
And they said
they don't have one within 100 miles.
Probably because it was a pre-order thing.
Probably.
How much do you want?
Like a mouthful, maybe.
That?
Yeah, sure. Just enough to
Keep
get an idea
talking.
of it. I've only really gotten 20 minutes of it, but it's got a nice aesthetic. It almost distantly reminds me of like the sketchiness of Valkyria Chronicles.
Sketchiness in graphical style.
Yes. I mean, not sketchiness as in it's bad. Some of the voice acting is a little hollow in that they're saying the lines and they're putting emphasis on stuff. It's just
But they're doing it like
it's
a
in
job.
the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
It's just there enough that you realize it's not. Which, just turn off the volume. And it goes back to being, you know, a pretty okay narrative.
Scene, yeah.
But then you don't have your music.
How's the music?
Pretty good.
I would expect no less.
It's maybe more like FF10-ish, kind of just almost not unlike this. We're listening to Dark Cloud 2.
Yeah, we're listening to Dark Cloud 2 OST.
I wouldn't say it has the same arrangement. I wouldn't say it's got the same instrumentation, but it's got kind of that feel so far.
Seems about right. A handheld FF would probably have things like that. Now, are you good on that then, or you play like 20 minutes, so you don't really have that much to.
I've touched into the Bravely Default system, and
The battle system.
Yeah. It's interesting because it lets you stack up moves, but you've got to pay them back later. So.
I wanted to. Well, no, I'll let you keep talking now.
So I like that because, yeah, first turn, I could just smack you 4 times in the face.
And if that's
It does
enough
a lot
to
of
take them
damage.
down, then I guess
You actually get a bonus for that. If you get a first turn KO, and obviously if you get a first turn KO, you're not taking any damage, so you also get the bonus for not taking any damage.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
It's like 1 XP.
Oh,
So,
alright. I'm sure that's
and
a
one
percent.
job
I bet you that's a percentage.
I'll bet.
That later on, getting no damage.
Because it just says, 5% of 6 XP is 1.
Yeah, one, yeah.
So,
yeah.
I haven't gotten any sort of jobs. I'm still freelance and everything.
Is it freelance or is it Onion Knight?
It's freelance.
Oh. Because back in the day, you were an Onion Knight.
So, Bravely Default is an FF release.
Yeah. It's Final Fantasy Bravely Default.
Okay.
It's within the FF, like...
Is it canon?
There isn't a canon.
I shouldn't have asked that.
No, well, each game is a new... everything.
Yeah.
So there's not really a canon. Do I consider it a mainline, like a flagship game?
Mm-hmm.
No, it's a handheld. It's not on my TV. But
Type 0.
that's what I'm getting at. Is also, it's like, it's more spin-offy than Type 0.
It's Persona to SMT. You can have a solid handheld release.
Well, Persona was all console.
Yes, Persona's all console.
I'm trying to think of like a better... It's Spirit Tracks of Final Fantasy. It's Spirit Tracks. So, owning all the numbered entries outside of 14...
NA.
All the NA...
You don't have Japanese
I
3.
only don't have 3. Yeah. I don't have 3 at all.
Oh, you don't have...
There's remakes. I mean, 3... I own...
Because 3 wasn't in any release, so you can't really...
No. They only have, like, recent, like, DS version, where it's all 3D models and whatnot.
Son of a bitch.
It's a lot like Bravely Default. In a lot of ways, actually. But, wow, this music was just throwing me off. I was like, thinking too much about the violin or whatever this is. No, I don't have any version of 3. Besides that, I've got the rest. So, Bravely Default throws me off a little bit that it's so cartoonish and real squishy. I'm getting the issue that people had with Wind Waker.
Yeah.
Playing through pretty, what's the word, anthropomorphic, like, characters, and then this short, squat cartoon, toon FF, if you will.
Anthropomorphic would be like something that is not...
Is not human, but to me, they're not. It's polygons. And a lot of them look like FF8, very human.
That would be,
very, realistic. Yeah, they're realistically proportioned. And then Bravely Default, just graphically, it doesn't appeal to me. The main characters don't appeal to me. The girl's kind of cute, but, like...
Agnes.
But they're like, I played the demo for all of 10 minutes and uninstalled it. I couldn't. I just couldn't. The battle system was like, what is this? And
if you ever get the hankering, I've got a copy.
Yeah,
You've lent me so many games.
Yeah.
I'd be a shitlord to say no.
I don't see me trying it again because the battle system disgusted me. I don't like it saying, hey, do you want to set up a thing where I play for you?
Well, it's not that it plays for you.
Later,
do you?
You set it to AI, and you can have it copy your moves. So when you're running through an area, you'll find there's always like 3 kinds of enemies in a dungeon or something, 3 or 4 different enemy types. And if you find that you're encountering the same blend of enemies, you can set it to remember your move list in order, and just recite that. If you're finding that you can kill them every time without getting hit, you have to do that. You set up your encounter rate to 200%, and you just have it auto-fight. That's how you grind. To me, I want the grind to hurt.
You want it to be work.
I want it to be work.
You want to...
It feels watered down.
You want to put the time in for the reward.
Yeah,
because if there's no personal investment, there is no reward, because you're just being handed something.
It feels too much like you're being handed something. Now, I can see that if you're not super grinder pro, and you haven't played like 15 of the other games, then this is like, wow, thanks, this is really helping me get into it. That's fine. The world isn't largely interesting to me. I'm just not a big fan. I don't want to spend a bunch of time, butt-crushing it, because a lot of people love it. And in many ways, it's a return to classic FF. But what bothered me was that it's like, hey, look, we're returning to classic FF. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Look at me, can I have a medal? Like, no, if you're gonna do something new and do it good. Do it well, rather. Or really go back. Don't go back and add in a bunch of stuff to help, like, 5-year-olds play.
Yeah.
No, I have
agree with that.
I have too many issues, but I'm not going to bash it. It's not bad. I'm not interested, personally. If you like it, go for it. I'm very glad that you're supporting them in their time of need.
Let's not even say why. I saw the ad for the
10 thing or the 13 thing?
The 13-3.
Okay.
Girl power. I'm fine with having Lightning as a strong female lead.
We went
Good.
over this. You're forgetting that we went over this.
But
you don't remember going over this last week, but we did.
But they're making it fan servicey. They're making it not to yes.
Which
they're
is
making
exactly
it
what
not a strong female lead.
Which has been
they're making a female idol. They're making her an idol character.
Okay,
so
we went over this.
It's like the Lara Croft. She would be a strong female lead if it wasn't for
giant knockers.
Well, it doesn't matter what side their tits are.
Oh, it does.
Well, it doesn't
Maybe
help.
not to you, because you're not interested in girls, I guess, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, we went over this.
Okay.
Last week,
I've got to listen to those again.
Yeah, I explained to you how Toriyama came in, and he goes, "Hey, 10 was great. It had a really solid ending. That meant a lot." Yuna learned how to move on and whatever, or she's still hurting, but she'll move on because she's been through a lot.
Because what else are you going to do?
Proceeds to whore it for a second sequel, or rather a sequel, second game, where now the whole game is about her looking for Titus, not moving on, being a boo-hoo shitlord. Then now Titus comes back in 10.2.5, then he dies again, and then 10.3 or whatever is about looking for him again. So she just becomes, a clingy, I can't do anything. Then 13 happens, just let me finish here, I know you want to say something, but 13 happens, and doesn't get the best reception. Ooh, wait. Oh, you fucked it up. Do it again.
Son of a bitch!
Okay, yeah, that's all the tries you get. Ooh, I heard it coming, some feedback back here. Mark's eating seaweed, that's what that is.
It's seaweed snacks.
It's seaweed snacks. So 13 happens, gets a good sales, but like lukewarm reception, especially in the West. And he's all, no, I can super fix this. And they're like, let's move on. He's like, no, I'll prove to you
I'm making an idols game.
That the cast I made will work. So they make 10-2. And he's like, no, it'll super work. Just watch.
No, they made 13-2.
Yeah, 13. Did I say 10-2? I mean 13-2. They made 13-2.
It's just so common to say 10-2.
They fixed a lot. But it was so much, look, this is 13, and we fixed the things you said. So,
you can backtrack! There's more than one walk path.
Barely. And they made a game where the whole plot doesn't, because of time paradoxes, no one else knows any of this happened, and the whole thing might as well have not happened.
It was a dream.
Because that's exactly what you said last week. Anyhow, then he's like, no, but Lightning's really good, you guys. Make 13-3.
Lightning's mad that you aren't buying the game.
And in like press releases or press conferences, people try bringing that up to him, and he won't take questions or listen to the full question if someone says something negative about Lightning. It's super his waifu, and he's driving it into the ground.
That's a shame.
And I forget why we even were on this, but yeah, you were saying something about strong female leads.
Yeah.
You were bringing up, you saw the trailer, and you're like, Lightning, they added, from 13 to 13.2 to 13.3, she grows a size, if you get my meaning, each iteration, and 13.3
so what's she at now?
Introduces jiggle physics that she didn't have before.
See, now I'm partial to the jiggle.
And you don't talk smack on the jiggle.
I like me some jiggle. But
the jiggly bits.
Yeah.
But
there's
did you see the girl? The girl? The
one attached to...
The one that... Do you know who Sarah is, if I say Sarah in 13? The one that looks just like her with the black outfit? Mm-hmm. I'm down with that.
Well...
I'm just saying, strong female, feeble female, she looks nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Vanille is just like... Bubble. Fucking kawaii desu.
Bubbles?
Bubbles.
Like from Powerpuff Girls?
It's
Pretty
similar,
much.
yeah.
Pretty much.
I mean, she manages
Was she
to...
both of our favorite character in 13? She was mine.
I did find myself...
Attracted to Hope? I know.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yes. I wanted him to throw that...
Snow.
I wanted him to throw that boomerang straight up there.
Into your heart.
Yes. Oh, he did. I found myself chuckling the most when I was playing the Vanille sections, but I also had a really good time.
It was less of a chuckle. It was more of a hearty chortle. It was like a...
It got... it got a little more lighthearted.
Didn't
it? Was all like, yeah, you're playing Vanille.
Except she was always with that Saz dude, who's always trying to like kill himself and shit.
Saz
bring
was
it down. The black guy.
Oh, yeah.
He was very upset about things.
I think it's split between Saz and Vanille is my favorite character.
Saz
it's really split.
Actually added a lot he had a lot of development.
He did, and it was like the father-son thing. Like he was, yeah. That was a nice addition. I felt that they could have given the son more than 2 seconds of
dodge. What's his name? Dodge. D-A-J-H, I believe. Dodge.
More
no,
than like 2 seconds.
He has a little more in 13.2, which I have if you want to.
No.
Yeah, you did play a lot of 13 here.
Yes,
and
I actually did.
Neither of us are big
13
haters. We're not.
Sure, it's a hallway. Sure, there's some obvious glaring flaws.
But it's a pretty good... it's a well-played hallway.
Mechanically?
Yeah. It's
the
a
upgrade
system
hallway. Was great.
It was fun. Well, wait, level up or upgrade?
Upgrade.
Upgrading weapons?
Yeah.
I could not stand it.
I liked it.
I stuck with one weapon, just upgraded to the end.
But
Helter Skelter, though, is the coolest name for a sword.
Yeah. I'm an upgrade junkie.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you're a
if
skill
there's
tree,
a ladder, if there's a tree...
You're a ladder or branching...
Yes.
You're a ladder/tree junkie.
Yeah. The Crystarium.
That
when I saw that, I was like,
you know, Crystarium doesn't branch at all. It's a straight line. You're thinking like Sphere Grid or something.
Yes.
That's 10. And in Zillia, that big like web thing.
Yeah.
That's like a mix right in between Crystarium, because you have to go in sort of a line, but you can branch off if you want and slow down your overall expansion. But you can snag some things along the way and go a little slower. Is what you're thinking. 13 had a very linear. I think you could do like 1 or 2 steps off sometimes.
Yeah.
And go grab like 100 HP or something. You could fine tune a little.
Maybe
no, I remember you
8.
liking it. 8?
No, I don't.
You're thinking of 10? Or you're thinking of 10?
It was like a web. Like you had a central marker, and then like you climbed spars, but you could like make things, and if you boxed in an area, you got
That's
like
Zillia.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Crystarium is very similar in appearance, but it's linear. But the upgrades you loved. I woke up a lot of times, because you wake up hours before I do when you stay over.
Yeah, you usually wake up at like 1 or 2. I usually wake up at 8.
Yeah, so you would get a good number of hours in waiting for me to wake up. And I remember you were almost always at a shop. Or trying to sneak up behind things and you just couldn't.
Every game that has a...
Do you remember the Flanators?
The Flanators was a type of...
Flan. They were upgraded.
The Flan was the giant... The slime.
The blob. The slom. The slom.
The slom.
Slurm. I'm starting to slur things, and saying these words is hard.
So they were the giant slime enemies, and they had these like police lights on their heads and like orange jackets.
Why?
Because it's the Flanator. And they had a heal. So if you got a fight with more than one Flanator in it, you punched one Flanator, the other Flanator would go heal it.
But if you start,
so if you punch the healing Flanator, the Flanator that was being healed would heal the Flanator that was healing.
Yeah.
So you just got them staring at each other, just whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah,
heal
back and forth
each
just
other.
healing, and hopefully you can dish enough damage to kill them faster than they can heal. And generally you can at that point.
Yeah.
I guess, so we can get off the topic of 13, I have one last point, is that, as much as anyone might like lightning or like snow, we were talking about, like, Saz has very much his own motivation and development.
Yeah.
No one else has a son with this issue, just him. Lightning and snow are both just in it for the sake of Sarah, which, them having the same motivation, granted, one is a sister and one is like a fiance.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it was so damn similar. We didn't need both.
I felt that if they were going to have them both there, and unless they were like support grouping each other, there should have been more competition. Like, I know there was at some points a little bit of like a...
There was some heavy tension.
Like, yeah, there was heavy tension, but
there
there should have been
murderous tension.
outright, like, you little shit.
There was. They tried to kill each other.
Oh, shit. I don't remember that.
You didn't get that far.
Alright, well, there you go. There's even
Hope
another
tried
bug.
offering snow once.
I remember
pretty
that.
cool. Lightning gave him the knife, too. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the game was just kind of a hallway, though. I could just zone out, and I shouldn't be able to just zone out.
Yeah. I mean, even in Okage, like, you can't just autopilot.
You can't autopilot. When I can autopilot a JRPG, it's kind of not great.
Yeah. And this is, like, the perfect, like, accessible RPG music.
What? Oh.
Like Okage, or, like, I mean, the Dark Clouds.
Dark
or
Cloud?
Pokemon. Like, you really turned me on to Pokemon as an accessible RPG.
That's exactly what this is here.
Yeah.
You went into my next point without me telling you what the next point on the list is.
Fluidity. It's called synergy, Rob.
It is synergy. I do like synergy.
Roll.
Last week, you asked me,
Mm-hmm.
you said, what would you suggest as an entry level...
Wow, there's a first dungeon song.
Ooh, yeah. As a... We'll explain that later when we're playing that game. But,
Wait, didn't we play Dark Cloud 2?
Yeah.
But we're going to play Dark Cloud 1?
Yeah, but we can still talk about Dark Cloud. We're playing Dark Cloud.
I'm so mad at even this acronym. Well, you keep talking.
I'm confused now. But, yeah, you totally ruined the fluidity there.
Yeah.
You asked me last week, what would I suggest as, like, an entry JRPG, something accessible? And I said, Pokemon. But I thought about it more, and I'm not changing my answer by any means.
Okay.
That's totally my answer, and you think it's good, I think it's good. Everyone I've said that to thinks it's really good. But that's your entry. What is your real starter, though? That's
Your welcome wagon, like, this is JRPG.
Pokemon teaches you the mechanics very well.
But
in a
it's
cutesy world.
It's not introducing itself, and it's not marketed or made as.
It's not. If you look up a list of JRPGs or something,
It's not there.
Best JRPGs on PS1, best JRPGs on SNES, or Game Boy or whatever. Pokemon is not considered kind of like Super Smash.
It's not
teaches
considered
you
a fighting
shit,
game.
but it's not considered a fighting game. Pokemon will teach you the mechanics, but is not accepted into the JRPG world. To some people.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like it's kind of a fighting game. Right?
Yeah, it's. I would definitely argue it as a
But it's more of like a
party game.
Yeah, it feels
It's
more.
very much a party game.
It's more pick up and play than say Mortal Kombat.
Definitely.
You play like a friend who's been playing for a month in Mortal Kombat, and you just
can't even hit buttons.
You can't touch it. Like, you just lose.
Yeah.
Super Smash, if you kind of know the character, you can just learn it. Anyhow, Pokemon is your learning the mechanics.
Yes.
What is okay? I've learned the mechanics. What do I buy? Where do I go from
This
here?
is first grade.
Pokemon's kindergarten. What's your first? What are you gonna get graded on first? Like, what are you gonna play?
What goes on the permanent record?
What goes on the permanent record, so to speak? And I can't really. I'm too far along to extrapolate what's easy and what's not. I play some that are easy.
You don't have that reference anymore.
I don't have that frame of reference anymore. I can tell you what I started with, which was FF8 and Tactics.
Yeah.
I was a mutant.
Fucking Albus.
I was a mutant as a little kid playing that, like, speedrunning FF8 when I was 7 years old.
Nice.
What have you been introduced to that would, like, I don't have an answer for what do I... What series do you buy into after Pokemon?
FF? You got me on FF8? I just bought Bravely Default, which is
Did I really get you on
awkward-ish.
FF8? You wouldn't buy it for $5 when I showed you the sale. So...
Well, I don't have a credit card to get it on digital.
Dude, PSN, do you know the re-download trick?
No.
I'll download it onto your system for free.
Okay.
Yeah, you just have to give me your login info.
Okay.
As shady as that sounds, I'm serious. I can just
I really don't care yet.
Wait, no, I just give you mine.
Okay.
So if I don't know, when I drop you off, if I can come in and just do it, I can re-download it onto your system, because I log in, and then it's like, oh, look, you don't have it, you want to re-download it, so I do install it, and now it's on both of our systems. Just don't put it on
didn't we do that with Borderlands? A DLC?
Yeah. Yep. Sweet. I got all my COD maps back when I played. Every COD map.
Oh, you know what? 2 minutes of I'll explain my new opinion on COD.
You do that, I'm gonna go piss.
Okay.
I don't even want to hear it.
I heard an actually great explanation of why COD is so...
Gay.
So... massively consumed. And it was someone that made a joke. They rewrote the title as Call of Duty 2K14. The next response was that it was a revelation that COD is a sports game that is wrapped up in a warfare dress. I wouldn't quite say like paintball or anything like that, but it's a reiterating series with similar mechanics that sees graphical and slight changes to what the focus of power is. World at War was MP40 and Juggernaut. Modern Warfare was grenades and I didn't play that one so much. I watched a couple of videos. I was taking a mighty piss, but it was explained really nicely that it's not so much that it's just a bad game. I've bought quite a few of them. I don't really buy sports games, and I have no motivation to buy them. They're massively consumed. They make money, and they release year after year after year with graphical and slight changes to where focus lies. And that wraps up what I've got on Call of Duty. But the next point I see is games that Rob has started. I have no idea what he's got. All I see is he's got the PS1 plugged in, so I'm assuming it's something along that lines. Oh, I think it was Lunar, which he went out and shelled out some money for a lunchbox edition. So we're going to go ahead with this. Say, it looks like Lunar is probably a JRPG. I don't know if Rob is big onto that kind of stuff, but we'll see. We'll ask him when he gets back. After that, I see purchases, which, again, I bought Bravely Default. So, I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm a little more new to the big game franchise thing. And so I see the accommodations that they've made in a little bit more positive light. I see it as accessibility, and it's just a sign of the times that
Ignore the times. Play old games.
That's what and you're allowed to.
Rob is back.
Rob's back. But
Don't let him poison you.
accessibility. I see accessibility as a good thing.
Ooh, well, that's where we
disagree vastly. I see accessibility as
a crutch.
Rob. It is. I'm not saying it's makes the games better. I'm saying it makes it so that
Fan base less skilled.
it makes it so that the
12-year-olds can play.
no, I'm
just ruining this.
you're
I
killing my mojo.
I gave you your 2 minutes.
It makes it so that the market can survive.
Yes, it very much assists with sales.
And I don't think that devs and devs and publishers and marketing companies could afford to make the AAA and really, really just high budget JRPGs.
Is that what you've been talking about?
No, I went through a couple things.
I didn't know if this was accessibility in terms of COD or if
I
walked out of the room, guys, to go grab some tea and some pretzels. For
COD is a sports game.
Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm. Think about it. COD 2K14. Just think about that.
Yeah.
It releases year after year after year with graphical and minor mechanical updates.
And minor graphical updates.
You again, yeah, said minor mechanical.
Minor applied to both. Yeah, I would agree there. And it releases.
It releases under the guise of being something else. I'm not saying it absolves it of releasing under the guise of being a whole new world.
No, I mean, as in it being a sports game, it releases like a sports game.
Mm-hmm.
It updates like a sports game. It sells like a sports game. It's not a game about sports, but it's very much.
It's an e-sport.
It's developed.
It's an e-sport
game. It is. But that doesn't make it a sports game. Now that is a game that the esports community plays.
I feel that it's a game that is consumed as an esport.
Esport is not a genre.
No, but first-person shooters
is an esport. Very
is
much
an esport,
so. And now they've started to release it like it's a sports title because as real-world sports, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
It's lending itself to becoming kind of a genre in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on because I really don't want to talk about COD more. Okay. I did give you your time to just say anything you want.
Accessibility.
How did you get into this? I was not in the room, guys, so I need to. How did you get into?
I died out on that, so I started talking about new stuff, and I talked about. I saw games Rob started up on the list, so I mentioned that you had your lunchbox open of Lunar, and then I went to purchases. I again stated that I bought Bravely Default. I'm a little more excited for it. And that I saw that accessibility options, that you change your counter rate, you change your difficulty rating on the fly. I see it as it allows someone that if they, they wouldn't purchase, a JRPG.
Someone that wasn't thinking about it looks over their friend's shoulder and there's like, oh yeah.
It.
He's like, wow, that looks hard, and you're like, no, you can change it. And he's like, oh, okay, I might try it.
Maybe you'd get into it. Whereas, you see it, and it's
accessibility,
and they get stomped.
Accessibility
Or it's endgame Final Fantasy Tactics, and they start the encounter, make one move to put combatants in position, and the other team just makes a move and ends the game.
Yeah, don't act.
Yes.
The best move, the best status effect.
Instead of something like that, I mean, you can go to that level with it. You can go on hard difficulty with, altered encounter rates to whatever you like. And you can get a similar experience. I'm not saying that it will be the same.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that it's definitely lost a lost quality to hardcore players, but the hardcore players are not the driving video games economy anymore. I'd like them to be. but it's
games
not...
would be different.
Games
They were different.
Games were different. Games are different.
When
Games
the only
will
people
be
playing
different.
were serious gamers that were looking to be gamers.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the prices based on inflation of a video game console, you're paying the same, if not more, for a Genesis or a Jaguar or, you know, ColecoVision. If you wanted to play...
Back in the day, a system balanced for inflation, and not even balanced for inflation. For example, the 3DO released around $700 in the 90s. Those are 90s dollars, folks. That's
a powerful dollar.
That's a little over $1,000 now, I believe. Ish. That's up close to $1,000 now for a game console with no confirmed releases, just about, and almost none panned out. Besides Gex, which I think is hilarious that Gex came out there first. But if you don't, do you know Gex?
I had Gex 3D.
All right, Gex. We went over this. Gex 3D isn't a thing. It's Gex 3.
Fuck.
I have it right over there. I can show
We
you.
played it.
We did.
We did.
We played Gex.
No, me and my girlfriend played Gex.
I was. Ew, the fact that you're getting us confused is a little weird.
I don't know, I was drinking both times.
That's the only way to play Gex.
Someone's penis ended up in my butt both times. So I have no idea.
Was she from Taiwan?
Nope.
Okay,
Nope,
well,
nope.
then it
I'm
was
kidding
probably
entirely
me.
with that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I was gonna say, because if she is, it could be either of us.
Oh, God.
Let me throw in my opinion, because I'm much more opinionated on that than you. Seeing you trying to make a point makes me want to just get out my point hammer and go mash things back into place.
And that's...
Well, I've
the
been
way
in
it
it for
goes.
so long, and being a hardcore RPG player, I feel like my opinion. You may still. I'm still thinking about
Your
my
penis.
My penis is more valid.
Yes, that is how it goes from now on. Your penis is more valid. Let's go.
All right. Would you say that's true? That I'm in more balls deep than other folks makes my opinion on the genre more valid? Or is validity based on who's the larger market share?
Who are you asking?
You. Do you
You're
think
asking me.
should a developer?
I have two opinions here.
Should a developer cater
not two
to
opinions. I have one opinion.
cater to more sales or truer fans?
Here's what I'm going to say. In the ideal world, fans. In a world where if you only cater to your niche market, you don't have a company. In certain cases, you have to find a way to keep your hardcore fans around while increasing your availability and accessibility to wider markets.
That's Zelda.
It is, and that does it well.
That's the Zelda, plan. That's the
You
Zelda.
still felt good playing
mission
ALBW.
I felt great.
You felt... I did too.
And that was your first game and my 15th.
So... And they're a success story with doing that. Your opinion is that Final Fantasy and Bravely Default is how...
Not to do it.
How not to go about it.
Now,
Is...
what I wanted before we keep moving, let me finish on your exact topic before we go into this other one, was accessibility options are not
Inherently bad.
inherently bad in any way, because the keyword there is option.
Yes.
I can go set it to highest settings, highest difficulty, and get my ass beat, and then I'm playing exactly what I was expecting and what I'm looking for. It just, you see, it's kind of like, let's please not get into it, but the idea of legalizing certain things,
Yeah.
the fact that I can just keep my dick out of it, do my own thing, sit in my room, and it doesn't affect me. It's my choice to go get involved or not.
Yeah.
but it would bother me personally having that available. Same with these games. It bothers me that I see them not cater. They're not bringing me my game on a silver platter. Here, hardcore gamer, no one else can touch it.
Yeah.
No one else can do what you can do. Now they're like, oh, there's these 12-year-olds that are playing too. And, you know, it's fine if you want to play.
They've got
hard
mom's
mode.
iPod that they can now play Flappy Bird or Angry Birds or Be Little Shit Birds somewhere else.
They can go be shitlord. To me, I'm like, keep your kids out of my Final Fantasy.
Okay.
Keep your noobs out as well, of any age. It just, as long as, or noobs can go buy it, as long as they don't change it.
Yeah.
And then seeing these options, growing up playing, you turn on FF8, I get the same bosses you get. You get the same final boss
You feel that
difficulty.
the option to make it easier devalues your accomplishment of...
Exactly. Yeah, you worded it better than I was going to be able to. My growing up practicing hundreds of hours, and getting this good and fine-tuning my RPG skills and being able to essentially, about 4 buttons? You know, start, settings, key down to easy, push the A button. Now you have an easy game. I didn't have that option. Even as a younger than 10-year-old, I had to force my way through.
Now...
Should it have to be that way? No, I grew up that way and I'm being an old fart. Saying the world should be how it was when I was young.
Now, I'll argue... not argue. I'll state before I even make this point.
I already made it.
Fear of social decline has done more damage than social decline ever has. But...
Oh, I'm totally stuck up.
Reduction of attention span is also
Scary.
an aspect... It's scary, but it's an aspect in how these games need to be marketed and how increasing sales have to go.
Yeah,
because if say, you know, you've got your attention span, you can sit down in a night and play 8 to 10 hours of FF, you know, any title.
When a kid can turn on his iTouch and play Flappy Bird in 2 seconds,
and have you know,
blast.
A game last 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 50 seconds. If you're damn good at that game.
Also,
that shit's hard.
Also,
but
yeah, now it's
also.
Can a kid stay up 10 hours and go play?
Exactly.
I was lucky
with
enough.
All your kid has to sleep 8 hours a night, has to do XYZ, can't stare at a screen for this many hours a night. There's also those considerations that parents are not allowing for...
Like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I grew up out in Kansas.
That sounded like Cantina theme for a second there. Listen to that. That sounds really Cantina-ish.
It does sound super Cantina.
So you lived out in Kansas.
I lived out in Kansas, and my parents felt bad if they told me to turn the game off, because what do? Go look at corn? I go watch Cornhub.
You love that corn.
I like corn. I still really like... That's my favorite vegetable to this day.
I am fond of edamame, which is soy.
I know what it is.
Hey, someone listening to this might not.
They might not. Tell them again.
Edamame is juvenile soybeans.
Juvenile soy. That barely legal soy.
Yeah, dude! That's what I'm into. You got to. Because if you eat it full grown, it tastes like shit.
Yeah, it actually does. That's why you blend into, like, actual soy, like, you know, the squishy junk.
Like tofu?
Yeah, like tofu, sorry. My vocabulary is decreasing at the moment.
I love it.
This is from Texas, by the way, right outside.
So you're drinking the shiny cock?
Yeah, Shiner Bach. Shiny talk. You want some?
Sure, another mouthful of that's good. That's fine. Jesus, you're pouring more and more. Ooh, this one's nice and dark.
Isn't it? It's good stuff, too. At least in my opinion.
It's, maltier.
My dad's from around the area where this comes from.
It's more hoppy.
In its region, it's cheap.
Number one?
No. People like it.
Yeah.
People prefer that to a lot of stuff. It's around the price of Bud, where it comes from.
Is it kind of like how other people view Yingling, where we see it here and it's kind of shitty?
It's a lot smaller
other
than
places...
It's from Shiner, Texas. It's very specific. as compared to Yingling is kind of a tri-state or northeast entirely.
Oh, wait, we don't live anywhere near where Yingling is. It's cheap other places.
It's real expensive here, super far from the northeast.
I think we're as far as you can get. What are we in the middle of? I think, like...
I forget what we said last time.
The Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, that was it.
We are a sovereign nation.
I wish. That would
Robtopia.
It's named after me, woohoo!
It's the floating junk island. No, you've heard about that, right? The floating island of trash.
Yeah. It's fine. If you look closely at Sega consoles. I'm peeking out from the epicenter.
Just, these are all mine.
You can hear the Sega CDs starting. As you get close. Have you heard about that noise, right? That like deep sea noise that they picked up that time? That
it was like a methane bubble.
No Mega CD bubble.
Ooh, you were starting them all up.
I hit the power button like you wouldn't believe. We were
nice.
Lunar was first on the Mega CD. Sega CD in North America. Lunar, yeah.
So what's that?
That's a re-release on the PlayStation 1. It's remastered.
Because no one bought a Sega CD, so they switched it over to PlayStation.
In Japan, the best-selling on Sega CD. Worldwide.
The only selling on Sega CD.
There was Sonic CD. You want to make a joke, but I know too much to let it go. There was about 2 games.
Ryan the Hedgehog.
Brian or Ryan?
Ryan the
Hedgehog. Is that from Sonic 3D
Blast?
If anyone
We're still having the blast. I feel the aftershocks now.
Sonic 3D ass blast.
So
you're lucky we played on Saturn, and I didn't pop in my Genesis version.
I've heard it's
you
better.
were playing the 32-bit version. That's the 16. So imagine
Why did it go backwards?
Huh?
Went backwards.
No. Genesis is older.
Mm-hmm.
Cartridge system right there. I'm pointing at it.
Yeah.
That's 16-bit. Sega Saturn with the disc. The one we played is 32.
Oh! Why did it go backward?
It didn't go backwards.
Well, it went low res. Why didn't they slap it onto 32X? Because they wanted to sell them. Was it before 32X?
Huh? I'm
so it
confused
went.
now.
The original release was on Saturn.
No, the original was on Genesis.
Original was on.
And then they ported it to Saturn, as Saturn became available.
But doesn't it say Sega Saturn exclusive?
No. Wait. We can find out really fast. Because I remember me and Ryan making a joke about that. I think it does say Sega Saturn exclusive, but it's not. Because it's right fucking there on my shelf for Genesis.
Yeah, that's why I thought this was the original.
But it's... I really don't think it is. Let's find out.
He's looking it up now. I'll say... What were we just talking about before that?
We were talking about accessibility. I was making a point. We brought up something about a floating junk island.
You started up the Sega CDs.
Sonic Blast. Okay. Original
release was...
Wait, here we go. Wait, release dates. Sega Genesis.
Was original.
First released in North America.
Because, North America is the hotbed for hot Sonic action.
This is super weird. It has an NA release, then an EU, and then the JP release isn't until 2007 on Virtual Console. They didn't even release it on Genesis in Japan.
Because nobody wanted it.
Then Saturn. So, no, Saturn release was 29 days later.
Okay. So why the balls did they write fucking Sega Saturn exclusive?
It's not.
It's really not.
It's
just not.
They must have been feeling the burn. And
maybe they mean it's a Sega exclusive that happens to be on Saturn?
Sega Saturn exclusive. It has the word Saturn right there.
I know. But I'm wondering how they could think of... I mean... No, put that away.
Now that's
Put that away. I can't deal with the Altered Beast right now. We got enough beasts to deal with. Now that I can live with.
You want to play some Doom on the 32X? I'll turn it on. I gotta think.
The temptation is there. I vote we do it after DC1.
Okay. Just for Slobfest when we're totally gone. Okay.
But
Accessibility.
Doom reminds me of the first game I ever played, which was Duke Nukem 2 bitches. That was the real shit. I played that out of my dad's lap.
I played Castle
Sitting on the computer chair.
Yep.
Sitting there saying, "Hey Dad, why are you shooting those guys with a laser?" He says, "Because they're bad guys." I'd say, "Can I shoot the bad guys with a laser?" He says, "Let me teach you." Because it was... One of his buddies from work bought it. And then he said, "Hey, write me a floppy for it." And then he wrote floppies for it. And then they brought it back, and we had it on floppy. Yeah, all my games were on floppy.
Yeah, we had Wolfenstein.
I had Tonka.
On floppy?
I don't know if I had the floppy.
Tonka was on CD retail. I don't know that it would fit on a floppy.
I know I had a Tonka game. I know I had some game where it was like construction vehicles and they ran shit over. It was like a point and click. But it was like they had a whole bunch of construction vehicles and they would run shit over.
Do you
with
remember
videos.
the part of Tonka? This is going to be really specific.
Okay.
Because I only remember a snippet. You would pick like sort of different stages with a bunch of stuff that was all fucked up, and you like. But there was one that was like an icy road. Mm-hmm. And there was like the guardrail was broken in one spot.
Yes.
And you like use a crane to pick up like there were these dudes in their car down there or something like that.
Yes.
Okay, that's really the only spot I remember that, and then there was a construction site was another stage.
One I had was It
was like a point and click though. It had big burly Tonka man.
Yeah, the one I had a mechanics.
Can we please do a Tonka
yes.
LP?
Yes, this will happen.
Now,
schedule it. Write it down. You heard it here first.
It's on
the most hypest gameplay.
The hypest construction.
No, but the one I had like a mechanics garage, and like you took out the spark plugs and the fucking I got so hype on that. Because my dad taught me how to take spark plugs out of our cars.
I remember
and
eating Easy Mac and chopped up hot dogs at my friend's house when we were playing Tonka. And that's what we were doing for the whole evening.
You just got so hype on it.
Cut up Wheaties and Easy Mac. Yo, this shit is great. Kansas is the best.
Yeah.
Like growing up there was super hype.
Oh man. Yeah, it was shitty here.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have to grow up in the middle of the Pacific where you live. Mm-hmm. And I live.
Yeah, I mean, like, the only thing there's to eat out here is seaweed.
And seaweed. And seaweed!
I mean, this is like the food of my peoples here.
All we have is seaweed and Sega.
There is only Sega.
One thing to close up on accessibility, the topic there. It's not inherently bad. I prefer the option to not be there because it devalues my hard work. Mm-hmm. For sales, it's good. Mm-hmm. For new players, it's good.
For a sign of the times. I'm not saying the times are good, but a sign of the times.
I'm a holdout. Like I'm kind of a relic at this point as I'm getting older, and I'm acting like things should be made 1997 style, and they super shouldn't. It's not 1997. Those were even the sales will prove that that was the golden age. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
But the market is not the same as it was 20 years ago, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's simply not the same buyer base. There's some of us. A lot of us have moved on, and there's a lot of new kids that were born that year that are now buying games.
Yeah.
They didn't grow up with that.
I mean,
they don't value that.
And some people will say that we were born too early for the glory days of DOS gaming.
Yeah.
And, top down.
I wasn't there waiting in line on release day for The Legend of Zelda 1.
Yeah.
I obviously don't know what I'm talking about.
And I heard another discussion. I don't really listen to it too much anymore, but because I've gone back to listening to John Dowland and shit like that.
John
Dowland. Renaissance composer.
Jontron?
No, Loot.
Peanut Butter Gamer?
Loot.
I don't know who you're talking about. Are you talking about music, or you're talking about like a podcast?
Music.
Okay,
Music.
okay. I thought you were talking about a gaming podcast.
No, like an old composer. Like,
oh, well, what's music have to do with this?
it was the discussion that the old metalers will always think the new metal is shit. Because you enjoy and you like what comes out in your generation.
Totally. With almost anything. Cars, people are like that with music.
Screw that! Cars! I like the fucking 1929 Duesenberg J. Fuck you kids.
There's people into old
Duesenberg
cars.
J.
Some people are into old cars. Yeah, sure. I like old cars more. My favorite cars are like 80s and before.
Yeah.
Some of those old like
feel
Model
like
Ts and stuff.
80s and 90s saw a big hole in muscle cars and shit. Because
70s
like the
cars
Camaros
were shit, though.
look like
American cars in the 70s were junk. Some of them look cool. They were made like trash. That's when our auto market crashed because they were so bad.
Pontiac went away.
You could send stuff to Ford and it would come back with the door wired closed. They would tie a wire and tell you it's fixed.
That's no good.
Yeah, it happened all around my dad's neighborhood. People were sending their Fords
Sucks.
back and they were coming back with wires punched through the door.
Fuck!
Like, the door's closed now! But
That was just bad. though.
muscle cars are, luxury cars. Sure, they're going to pay
Muscle
attention.
cars really weren't super luxury. I mean, you bought and sold real.
You could, yeah.
Oh man,
I'm not a car person, though.
My dad was. Goddamn, him and his
But
brothers.
Some people, especially if your dad is into cars, of course you'll be into some older cars and more specific junk. But let's not get too
Doesn't
far.
even know what a fucking.
Whatever. Let's not get all.
Yeah,
cars. This
yeah.
isn't the car cast. People tend to like what is their generation of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason my dad can't get into like hip hop and the other junk we like, and like
I don't like hip hop.
no, not you. The other hip hop, comma the other
This
junk
junk
we
we
like,
like.
comma whatever else is popular within the 2000s and aughts.
The millennials.
The millennial stuff. He
Dubstep.
won't get into that. And I won't get into basically anything from about this year on.
Yeah,
I'm just going to ignore.
and
Here I am listening
people-
to game music. Like,
Yeah.
Fuck it. I don't care.
and the people that grew up with this, and the early COD generation. I mean, I'm not talking like 1 and 2, how we were.
Yeah, we were like...
I'm talking
I
like
grew up on COD 1.
Modern Warfare and Beyond generation.
Yeah.
They'll think that that's the epitome,
Yeah.
and I don't feel that it devalues their opinion. It differs from mine.
I think a lot of what changed it was, and this is a society thing in general, is the prevalence of the internet.
Yeah,
It just didn't have that same...
saturation of entertainment, and I never finished.
like you were saying, that you... plug
Attention
and-
span,
like,
yeah.
The attention span, the plug-and-playness of just turning on your system, and you have a pool of 110,000 people to play with.
Yeah.
And you just multiplayer, bam! And you're in a match with, 16 dudes.
And you're like, yeah, interaction.
Like, we grew up in most
And a
people
life
listening to
lasts, 45 seconds a minute.
this- Maybe. Yeah.
Mhm.
Or sometimes you just get spawn killing, and you just keep
And you
going.
do it again.
Yeah, that doesn't lend any real credence to learning to play. Yeah, this is a vocal track. This is weird. An RPG for spend 5 hours learning the mechanics, and you're playing alone. There's no one to talk to. You're not hooked up online.
So you're directly connecting with.
You're playing one character.
You're
in one-
vicariously interacting with story characters.
And I grew up thinking, what to me was the most fun was if I am going to play a shooter, I want to land. I want the cords crossing over under my feet over to my friends, and we're all yelling, like, so you can hit them or something if they sneak up on your screen watch. That's what I grew up with, and now it's like it's too fast-paced for me almost.
Yeah.
The negative attention span thing is not great. We can't stop it, though.
Yeah.
There's no brakes on the rape train.
Ugh. No. There's not.
So,
But the fear of societal decline has done more damage than societal decline ever has.
yep.
So I'll reiterate that.
But I'll keep fighting.
Yeah, but you'll keep fighting the good fight, 3 Dog Out.
Took me a second to get it.
Yeah!
3 Dog. Ow!
I love that.
I play some newer stuff. Yeah, I'll catch 3 Dog.
I mean, and that's also an accessible RPG. Because you can log in and you can, instantly, boom, do it with a shotgun. Boom, do it with a shotgun. You can get that kind of action. But you can also find some good story points. I mean, Tenpenny Safari.
You asked me JRPGs.
That's a Western.
That's Western as
Western
hell.
as hell.
That's an action adventure RPG. That's not. That wasn't in the running.
Okay.
A lot of people can pick it up, but people who haven't played an RPG before can't just pick up Fallout and be like,
Here's a story game.
and get it.
Yeah.
And understand, like, managing your attributes and stats and all that.
Yeah.
But, are you like... Yeah, this is...
This is, like, getting my motor running.
Oh, you like it?
I like it as in reference to, hey, here's your fucking vocal track in Dark Chronicle 2. Dark Cloud 2. I'm looking at the title screen, or title card of it.
When I'm up really late.
My thing is misnomering games like Breath of Fire Awakening and Dark Chronicle 2.
Dark Chronicle 2.
Breath of Fire Awakening.
Breath of Fire Awakening. And the worst of all, A Link Between Time. You said that in the first minute of the last podcast.
Yeah, but what is the...
There's A Link to the Past, A Link Between Worlds, and Ocarina of Time. You hit all three in one.
It's
A
the
Link Between
trifecta!
Time.
A Link to Time. A Link to the Past.
As great as it would be, that's not a Zelda game. And that's the first thing you're like, oh yeah, I was playing some Link Between Time. Or you asked me, you said something with a Link Between Time soundtrack?
No, see, yeah, I wanted to listen to
the
Link to the Past.
To the Past opening, the intro.
Yeah, because we were listening to A Link Between Worlds soundtrack.
Yeah. I know
and
why
you said it was like a reimagining and a instrumentation.
Yeah, and you didn't know that. You were like, oh, it's so good. And I'm like, let me show you something. You're like, it's so fresh and original. And I was like, no!
It's really not.
It's super not. It's super 22 years old.
And it's still just as good.
It is. Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Listen to that note.
Ooh, that she held that note really well. I like that.
She held that note passably well. Oh my god! They just ramped up my hype level like this.
I hope I'm hoping that this is synced up well.
Yeah,
so you're not getting hype on something that's like nothing.
We'll have to line it up.
It's pretty well lined up. Okay, earlier you were saying accessibility, and for a second you kind of backtracked on it, but you mentioned, you said Dark Cloud for a second.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true. Dark Cloud 1, at least, kicked my ass. The first time...
I mentioned, I believe, Bravely Default's music.
Oh, yeah, you're referencing music. Dark Cloud, I was going to just get into
We can talk about that, definitely, the accessibility of that series and dungeon crawling in general.
I don't know, maybe we could wrap it up pretty soon, though.
Yeah, do you want to make that the last point?
I guess. I mean, dungeon crawlers to me are the top of the difficulty pyramid. They tend to be, because very much you can't easily, if you even can, hop back to a town. It's very unforgiving.
Yes.
Would be the right terminology to use. And Dark Cloud is on the more forgiving end, granted.
Yeah.
But it's not by any means like you can just fuck around. You will die. You'll get poisoned and die. You can... I'm not sure. There might be like an escape rope kind of function to bail.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. It might be that you need to finish it once you commit to entering a level.
Yeah.
Or a floor, rather.
Screens.
The first one is significantly more difficult, I think. Especially the first boss. I remember distinctly renting it 3 times.
Just
that
to get
I
to
didn't beat the first dungeon. Because the final boss of the first dungeon, I could not grasp that he was beatable. I took it to be a...
lose this to get cutscene.
A story, lose this after a certain time. And I would always try to time it out to where I could lose. I was very young. But
Yeah.
I was maybe 11. And I would try to time it out long enough, but not really fight. And you have this little shitty slingshot. It's the only thing that can hit the boss. And I used it, and no, it's just, you gotta shoot at him for like 20 minutes, and then you win. Got that crisp crunch. Crisp Kringle. You ever get those at Christmas? Those little crunchy, like, Santas? Crisp Kringle. I don't have a lot more to say, but that I was going to bring up what's coming up on our channel. And if people haven't noticed the sort of Dark Cloud theme, we are gearing up to play some Dark Cloud.
Yeah.
In the game, we'll go over why we're playing Dark Cloud and, like, the significance of Dark Cloud to us. It's, to me, Inuyasha and Dark Cloud are like our top 2 us things. Histories, yeah. Dark Cloud, I don't know so much why. That was one of the first times...
Because I've always wanted to play it.
And it was one of the first times you were, I think, spending the night over. And
yeah,
we
and
really
I was
know
like,
what to
whoa,
play,
yeah, the thing.
This was like before I had my PS3, I think. And it was just my PS2 was hooked up, and you're like, oh, I've heard of that. And I'm like, oh, no one's ever even picked that out. Do you want to put it in? And we're like, okay.
I got hype on it.
I grabbed my
game guide.
I grabbed my strategy guide, and we got to work.
Strats.
And I believe Donnie gave us some laughs.
Definitely.
And we rolled with it.
Yeah.
And we'll go over that in more detail as we play DC1. DC3 is not really a thing, but I've been emailing and I've been signing petitions.
Do it.
Mega Man Legends 3 was announced and cancelled.
The Last Guardian.
The Last Guardian is announced and still being developed. Super still developed.
Oh my god, The Last Guardian is so bad.
Have you been keeping up with our Shadow of the Colossus playthrough?
I don't want to touch that griffin.
You don't want to touch that crap? Is that what you said?
I want to touch that griffin.
Oh, from The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
The what's he called? It's not a griffin. He's a
Griffalcon?
no.
Because that's a real thing.
No, he's a.
No, Griffalcon is not a real fucking thing.
Starts with an S, I think. I don't know what he's called, but he has some weird ass name.
Spirit Buddy?
No, not Spirit Buddy. I wish he was called Spirit Buddy. That's like an Adventure Time thing.
Yeah.
Spirit Buddy. But
and it would be the giant fucking griffin. Like,
it would probably be like a bottle of ketchup or something. If it was Adventure Time, just Spirit Buddy.
No, because Princess Bubblegum's rock is called the Morrow.
Okay.
So it's just weird shit.
It's all weird shit. It's all the show is.
I called that post-apocalyptic bullshit early, though. Like, first 3 episodes of season 1.
Is that, like, confirmed now?
Oh, yeah, it's straight up, because the Marceline and Simon episodes. Dude,
I'm not that caught up.
Super post-apocalyptic.
Super confirmed.
And if you watch...
Major League Canon.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch the Banishing the Lich episode, it goes into some alternate universes, and
Oh, great.
one of them is where they drop another nuke.
I feel like dealing with that.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I'm done not watching it.
Awesome.
I do like the show. I'm just not going to keep up with the canon story.
Yeah. I mean, it's all episodes, so
I'm not that.
no big.
Ryan's super into it.
Yeah,
I don't know why you guys don't talk both like that. You like regular show?
I watched the original episode.
You watched the pilot?
Well, it's sort of like a pre-pilot, like...
The sketch thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one where they're on fucking acid in the gas station?
Yeah.
Did Ryan show you that?
I downloaded it and watched it with him, actually.
That's the fucking best! Because it's like...
To see where the show actually came from.
Came from? Like this
awkward but
kid's
awesome,
show?
too. Yeah,
like,
this kid's
it's
show.
originally Mordecai and Benson, and Benson's like the stingy boss guy.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Mordecai comes in and he's got the hard candies and they're smashed with LSD.
And they just
turn
trip
into
balls
stuff.
all night. And that's
Yeah.
like, essentially the show. And they're like, can you make this not drugs?
Tripping balls.
Can you make this show not... And they're still like stoners, though.
Yeah. Oh
In
my
the cartoon,
God.
they're totally like just some stoners.
They live at a park.
They work and live at a park. It's like... and they just play a fucking Master System. It's not even Genesis, it's the 8-bit before.
Nice.
The thing they're playing is modeled after a Master System, if I'm not mistaken, in my inebriated state. Yeah, and do you see the one where they're playing that zombie game?
Yeah.
That was great. I loved watching like the different iterations, like zombie whatever 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one comes out, and it's like on that new system.
All hype.
I know that feel,
Yeah.
and I know that letdown once you play the new reboot. Can't stand it, but that's why I always go for originals.
Alright.
Speaking of which, though, I got Lunar. It's originally on Sega CD, and I have the PS1 retooling, but it's pretty
Loyal.
It's pretty loyal.
So what about your Darkstalkers in the fucking VHS box? Darkstalkers down there.
That's called a PS1 long box. A few games were released on that. Just to kind of draw your attention, really. I believe that might be a pre-order, because you can get that almost every long box game, I think, comes in a standard jewel case as well.
Yeah.
And the long box is always the original release, which I think is that. Darkstalkers, you didn't come on my birthday. Ryan showed up. Ryan did show up, and we spent the rolling over midnight into my birthday playing Darkstalkers, actually.
Nice.
It's a fighter.
Yeah.
You know what Darkstalkers is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a monster
Felicia
fighter.
and Morgan.
Yeah, Felicia and Morgan. Yeah, I don't know, it's just like classic monsters, like a succubus, and I don't know what Felicia's supposed to be, it's just a cat girl. It's like, that's not a classic, but there's like a mummy, there's
Anunnakis.
Yeah. The werewolf is the coolest, like...
We call him the Tickle Monster.
Yeah, Tickle Monster.
Fucking Cap Capone.
What's... Mapcom, yeah.
Mapcom.
What's the Talbane, like John Talbane or something, is the werewolf? And he's a werewolf that his backstory is that he learned martial arts to help, like, control himself when he transforms.
Yeah.
So he keeps control. But he's fucking nunchucks. Well, he's like a werewolf, and instead of tearing you apart or biting you, he
just beats you to shit.
beats the shit out of you with his hands and nunchucks.
That's the best.
There's the main character is what's his fuck? Not Vladimir. He's like but he's a vampire.
Okay.
Old school vampire. I'm forgetting.
Pretty sparkly vampire.
No, he sucks blood, not dicks.
Oh, okay.
Original OG vampire, Castlevania vampire. Get that crunch. Come on, get a good old crunch. Get nice and close to that microphone. Come on. Oh, that was crisp. Should we end on a crisp note?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I'm loving it.
Alright, thanks for
See you
tuning in,
around,
guys. See ya.